Welcome to your deep dive. Today we're diving into the world of electricity. Well, electricity and its less mobile sibling, I guess you could say, electrostatics.
Right.
You've given us some really interesting material on this, and we're excited to unpack it all. Have you ever, wondered what makes your hair stand on end after a good brushing?
It's a class.
Or how a light bulb even, lights up?
Yeah.
You break it all down.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is that, even though most people use those terms interchangeably,
Totally.
electrostatics,
Yeah, they're the same. Yeah.
right, understanding what makes them different kind of unlocks a whole new level of understanding about how these forces work around us all the time.
Totally. Okay, so let's jump into this. So the source material we're looking at today, it basically says that the difference between electrostatics and electricity, it's like comparing a photograph to like a high-speed film.
Yeah.
So they both capture light, but one freezes the action and the other one shows the movement. Does that track?
Exactly. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Electrostatics, that's all about charges at rest. It's like that classic rubbing a balloon on your hair.
Oh yeah.
That static cling, that's pure electrostatics. And it all boils down to Coulomb's law. And basically what Coulomb's law does is it explains how the force between two charges works.
Coulomb's law. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, that sounds a little intimidating.
It's really not as complicated as it sounds. Let me give you an example. You know how when you pull clothes out of the dryer, sometimes they stick together?
Oh yeah, especially if they've been tumbling around for a while.
Exactly. That static cling, that's Coulomb's law in action, right?
Yeah.
It's all about these charges attracting or repelling depending on if they're opposite charges or the same.
Okay, so that's electrostatics. Those are like short bursts. So then electricity would be more like the charges constantly moving and flowing.
That's it. You got it. It's like electricity is about charges on the move. Usually we're talking about electrons here. And they flow through a conductor, like a wire, for instance. And, just like water needs pressure to move through a pipe, electrical current needs voltage to kind of give those electrons a push.
Okay, so voltage is like the driving force.
Precisely. It gets things moving.
Okay.
And just like if you had a really narrow pipe, right?
Right.
It would resist the water flow.
Yeah, makes sense.
Electrical resistance, that affects how easy or difficult it is for that current to flow.
Gotcha. So is that where Ohm's law comes in?
You got it.
To kind of bring those three things together.
Exactly. Ohm's law, it's like the magic formula that ties it all together. Voltage, current, resistance. It's the fundamental rule of how electricity operates.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
And it's actually really fascinating because from these basic principles, we get all of these amazing applications of electricity that we use every day. And even those static charges that we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
they're not just good for, shocking your friends.
Right.
They're actually used very practically in things like printers, for example.
Oh.
Yeah, to control how the ink droplets are dispersed onto the paper.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, and then in electronics, like your smartphone, they're used to store energy in capacitors.
Wait, capacitors? Those are in my phone.
They are.
I had no idea.
They're little storage units for electrical energy.
So this isn't just some theoretical science. This is what powers all of our gadgets.
It's all connected. And on an even larger scale, think about the electricity that powers our homes. That's thanks to the controlled flow of electric charges.
Wow.
Generated at power plants and then carefully, harnessed and directed to where it needs to go.
So when we're thinking about this, what does it really mean for us? Aside from not wanting to touch a doorknob after, I've been walking around on carpet all day.
Right. Well, I think next time you, flip a light switch or you send a text message, you might have a little bit deeper understanding of what's happening.
Yeah.
But it also, it begs the question, could we one day kind of bridge that gap even further?
Oh, interesting.
Between those static charges and electric currents to create completely new types of technology.
Wow.
What would that even look like? That's something to think about.
That's a great question.